And good morning, everyone. I'm Chip Matthews here on the program here on WYAB. Of course, I'm here. Where'd you think I'd be? I got beat like a drum yesterday. That's exactly what happened. And I got beat by a drum. I mean, I have black eyes. I'm black and blue. Oh, I'm just not going to go out and show my face again. I know one radio host in town, he's such a state fan that every time he loses, and that's not anybody at this station, by the way, but every time that state loses, he doesn't show up for 2 or 3 days. Well, boys and girls, elections are elections, and elections have consequences, and we'll find out the consequences of this election over the next few years. And and during the campaign, y'all, I found out a lot of things that I didn't know. And it disturbs me to hear some of these things. And I hear things. I hear that the Canton basically sold out its rights at Amazon Web Services to try to get some money into the city to do something else. Y'all, that's sad to find out. And these are things I find out. Good morning, Chuck Lavender and Angela Hodges. Good morning. We're all here. We're going to be here on the radio. We're going to go and work on it. We'll be here every day. The message is still the same. The reality is still the same. You can get up ahead of steam every election and try your best to get people to do something. Like in Jackson, everybody wanted Chokeway gone. And once Chokeway was gone, they checked out. In Canton, everybody wanted to make sure that the factions of the Blackman family and Truly were gone. Then they just checked out, and the vote went the way it did. Good morning, Jolynn. And by the way, thank you to everybody. Good morning, Jace Powell. You won your race, yes, sir. You know, it's unique in elections what goes on, the dynamic, and of course, anything I say today will sound like sour grapes. So I really don't want to get into that much. It's still the same city. It's like Jackson. Let's look at this. John Horn just made the comment. I was listening to it in the news. Jackson is going the way, and so will Mississippi. Well, I hope not. I hope not. But then again, our legislators couldn't even get a budget this year. Couldn't get a budget done this year. And why is that? Why did they waste our money? I don't know. Waste is everywhere. The politicians are still the politicians. They're not always out to help the people. But in Canton, it is a new day with Tim Taylor in office, and and we got a lot of new people on the board. But the Amazon is still coming. The $10 billion project that I speak of that I'm telling all of you to right out there and look, and you will realize the future is now. The future is coming to Central Mississippi, West Jackson, North Jackson, Flora, Canton, all that, Madison, Ridgeland, Gladstone. It's going to be building on steroids. In 4 years, you're not going to recognize it. And leadership that we have now is going to direct the path of how that grows and how it goes together. And we've either made good decisions or we've made bad decisions, but only time will tell. The problems are still the same problems. It's like, for instance, in Gene McGee, congratulations, Gene. You got your pennies for the park passed by running again. You lost in November and you came back and run in January. It's good to never quit. I will never quit. I will always fight for a better situation in a better city. And if there's not a Republican on the ballot, I think more people need to get on the ballot. But if there's not one on the ballot, I may just slide my name back in there again. It does not bother me. the way it bothers some. Because many people run for office and then they get beaten and they go away. That's not the way to do things. Never. And I can promise you that me running against Tim Taylor made Tim Taylor have to be more on his game. There was back and forth. There was this, that, and the other. We found out a lot of stuff when we got to talk together. And then the more we talk, the more I realize that we got bigger issues than you realize. And, God puts you where you need to be. Okay? God puts you where you need to be. And from what I'm understanding, and Tim has even said this publicly. He said it on an interview the other night, Monday night. Canton is fixing to hit a storm that is going to be real bad. They don't have money to do certain things, and that is just not good. Good morning, Stephen Blackwell. Good morning, all. Hit the share buttons. Let everybody know we're here. Because there's so much money coming. There's so much money coming. When you go out to the Amazon site and you look at that site, you're going, this is too big to fail. But if local leadership does not figure out how to get the money out of that site and into their hands, good morning, Andrew Gasser. He'll be on today at 10 o'clock. But if they don't realize how much money, $10 billion. The budget for Mississippi is $7.1 billion. $10 billion of non-government money is being dropped into Madison County, right there at Canton. And Canton gave up its rights to it. And so we're going to get, I think we get school money and we got one-time money on some other stuff. Good morning, Tommy Chabelle. But as the story comes out, you're going to find out more things. We still have the same problem. The same people that were at City Hall along with some new aldermen know that we only have 3 officers per shift. They know that we have no money to fix flooding. They said they're going to Washington. They got $23 million, and that's not enough, so they need to go back and get $150 million. We've been doing studies and working on flooding in Canton, and for a long time, they blamed it on the last white mayor 30 years ago. Problems in Jackson are blamed on the last white mayor. I think that's only 20 years ago. But, good morning, Fred Cerami. What you really need to realize is that the people we actually elect and put into government. Good morning, Lee Bradshaw. The people we elect and put into government have no idea what they're doing. There's no program. You go to school and learn how to be in government and how to be an honest guy. It's how they handle your money once it's in their hands. When you take your wallet and hand it to a guy after you elected him to office, do you expect to get money back? Do you expect to get a return on your dollar from the guy you put into office? That is the criteria you should be looking at. Trustin James DeLong, TJ DeLong. Good morning, sir. Thank you. People checking in left and right. I'm glad to hear they listen to the program. I got a lot of support yesterday from people. When I was at the polls, they walked out and said, Chip, good luck to you. I voted for you. I voted for you. Look, if people that voted for me to tell me they voted for me, I'd have won the election. People don't think it through. Good morning, Tim Cantwell. Down in New Orleans. People just don't realize how important elections are. And we're a long way. The good people back in the 50s and the 60s that ran the state and the politicians, they came in, they did a good job. They did it for 8 years and went away. But here in the 2000s and 20s, I didn't win this, Tim. I did not win. I got beat like a drum. I understand that. What you got to realize is that those days are really over. People that cared about the community, your grandparents and your great grandparents used to care a whole lot about their community. They cared about the people in the neighborhood. You know, I guess it was a new time. You could set up a train and ride it around a park, and everybody thought that was a big deal. You could go riding on a camel, and that was a big deal. I remember circuses coming to town, and I've ridden a camel, I've ridden a elephant, I've ridden a llama. You know, things are out there for us to do. You know, and you do them. People come up with all the strangest things to do, but the reality is, no one's about to fix the roads. No one's about to fix the water. We're going to need more infrastructure than we can imagine. And the fact of the matter is, uh, they brought money into town, into central Mississippi to get results. They big Fortune 500 companies don't come here to start fresh. They came and they expect services for their $10 billion. They're coming to build buildings and make money, and we got to provide water and we got to provide electricity. And I'm afraid in the coming weeks, days, months, years, the people here will suffer because the governments have not prepared themselves for what's about to happen. They're trying to build more power. But, you know, when they put us on those, that farm out at on 43 in Canton, when they put us on that farm, on that solar farm, just because that needs to be where we get our power, because they got to dedicate the power to Amazon. You know, when those things happen, that's going to be real. When we don't get, when the water ball notice goes out because we don't have enough water for the cooling towers at Amazon, that's going to be real. And a lot of these services, you know, the cities have to get together. It's like this. If the mayor of Canton and the mayor of Gluckstadt and the mayor of Madison and the mayor of Jackson and the mayor of Ridgeland and the mayor of Flora are not getting together and having a roundtable discussion about the planning and talk about building houses and building infrastructure for the future that all of them can benefit from, somebody's going to suffer. Somebody's going to, the haves and the have-nots is about to happen. And I can promise you, even if you're wealthy and living in a nice neighborhood in Madison or Ridgeland or Jackson, and they need more power, it's going, the richest people in town going to be Amazon, and they're going to get everything they need. So it has nothing to do with the election. It has to do with the politics of what's going on. We need more transparency. We need more people telling us about what is coming to Mississippi. They mentioned it, and then it kind of got out of the news. And then when I went up there and saw it, I went, oh, this is a big deal, more than a big deal. It's like going to another country. Y'all take a Sunday drive up there. Don't just drive past it on 22. Pull in and look. You're going to be surprised. Let's take a break. We'll be right back here on the Chip Matthews Show, live and in person on WYAB. At least you recognize game there, saying Chip Matthews can win Talk Show Host of the Year. That'll be a tough one. Clay's got that locked down right now. And I mean, I'm not really a talk show host. I'm a rock and roll DJ and a restaurant owner. Yeah, that's what I am. Hanging out as a talk show host. But anyway, good morning there to Various Smith. He's checking in. Also, let's hit these other people. Anita Ford Summerall, Lebo Brock, Jimmy Rogers, Tammy Cupid, Jace Powell, Alderman in Gluckstadt, Joe Lynn, Chuck Lavender, Angela Hodges. Look, the Canton election and the election in Jackson only is a futile attempt in continuing to really have more of the same type of government we've had. I mean, there should be some tweaking, some changes. There'll be some things that go on. The big thing is you'll have Truly gone in Canton and you'll have Chokeway gone in Jackson. You'll still have Benny Thompson overseeing the world of the Democrats because, we can't get above that. We can't get past that. Good morning, Dawn McKenzie. It's like you don't understand what is the dynamic and the people out there. And think of the 80% of the people. We still didn't. I mean, I will tell you this. In the Canton election, something that is uniquely different that has ever occurred. The primary was one number. The runoff was bigger. And then the general election, it even got bigger. More people showed up. And they were all afraid constantly that, and with the lawsuits and everything, and there's still a lawsuit that's been pinned that is in the Supreme Court now. And, never underestimate black magic is what I'll call it. Black magic. They can make it happen sometimes. And I don't know what the results would be, why you would go to the Supreme Court, but you didn't stop the election. Election has occurred. The next step is to get it certified. And I'm just still, in Canton, you got to pinch yourself when you think you've done something good. You go, oh, we got away with something. Hang on, because it's coming. Because everything I told Tim Taylor along the way and his campaign manager, I said, look, they're going to do this. They're going to do this. They're going to do this. And I said, no, they're not. No, they're not. Boom. No, they're not. No, they're not. Boom. That's the way it goes. They don't give up. Lloyd Travis, good morning to you, sir. Everybody needs to, if we're ever going to make a difference, we got to figure out our way to get the other 80% of the people that bitch and complain about everything going on in the world. We got to get them to start going to the polls and make a change. But the 20% of the people that are making the decisions for all of us, good morning, Ricky Gray. The 20% of the people that are the voters, the people that are going out and voting, and the people that care. And like when I look at the show and the people that are clicking in, and I mean, I'm having great numbers this morning looking at them. But what you don't realize is that your neighbors are not voting. Your neighbors are lying to you and saying you're voting. It's sort of even like people that walked in and out of the polling precinct. It basically based on the people that were walking out of the polling precincts. Chip, I got your back. Chip, I got your back. Chip, I'm voting for you. Chip, I always liked your mother. I'm going to vote for you, blah, blah, blah. Those aren't the answers to why you should vote for somebody. You should know the issues to why you vote for somebody. And it's so hard these days to get the word out on what you're doing and what you're attempting to do. I mean, Mary Hawkins can keep winning in Madison because she put a good foundation down and she's got a good board, and the city will continue to be a great city because the foundation is set. Jackson, Canton, we have no foundation. It was eroded 30 years ago. You know, a lot of the people that created the foundation for Madison and for the places in Rankin County, those were just places that had a gas station or two, and they started building a city there. Those cities built good, firm ground, and then here in Jackson and in Canton, the foundations were broken. The people gave up. People were winning political favor and winning in elections that shouldn't be winning. And that was it. And then once those people got in, and we're talking way back, all we did was create a society of people that don't know and can't do, but they can talk. And they can say that they're the ones that they should win. You know, I never heard John Horn say he was going to do anything. And the first thing he says, I'm going to fix the roads. I'm going to fix all that. He said that coming out of the election, but he didn't say it during the election. You know, I go back to thinking of pennies for the park for Gene. And then I think of the same thing that Jackson did, pennies for potholes. Well, it doesn't seem like we ever fixed any potholes. I mean, you had a one or two, but the reality is we didn't fix potholes. You know, the government creates more money and tells you they're going to do all these wonderful things for you all the time. And we don't hold them accountable when they don't. And then you got Trump doing what he's doing. And we all decided that, yes, we needed Trump. Yes, we needed Trump. But hold on, let's get this phone. I'll finish that thought in a second. Good morning, you're on the air. YAB. Hello? Hello? I guess you're not on the air. But anyway, we're having trouble with that part of the program this morning. But as we go through the day, and on the subject of Trump is trying to do things, and he's having to play 3D chess. And everybody asked me in different interviews as we were doing this, what are you going to do in the first 100 days? Yeah, in the first 100 days, you're going to get on the ground and you're going to have the weight of the world come down upon you. And you've got to figure out how to fix it. You got to figure out how to fix it. And as you go in there and you find out, well, we need to take some money and we need to direct it toward this. Well, you ain't got any money. We spent it all. Then we got some more money from Amazon Web Services, and we've spent that already. Yeah, and we sold our children out. The future of Canton, a lot of it has been sold already in the deals they made for not taking that area into the city in the future. You know, you can't make this stuff up. And I don't know why we did it. We did it with Nissan. And remember, same leadership that did it to us there. You had on the board was Mayor Truly. He was right there as the alderman at large. And then this time around, the people on the board and this sold us for pennies to put them in the coffers to make up for many pennies that they misspent. Realize what's going on. And, I only found out this stuff in the last 3 days. And in an interview, a lot of this came out of one of the candidates' mouth. And I'm just looking at him going, you can't, and I'm just part-time. What do you mean you're part-time? You're the alderman. The alderman, as you know, you have to agree. The aldermen make the laws, and you as the mayor have to enforce the laws. And there's no way out of that, Understand, we got to put civics back into the schools. We got to put history back into the schools. We've got to find things that will make us be better human beings and better politicians. I guess we need to really start a junior college trade school on politicians, just where we can go in there and you can learn everything, learn how to lie, learn how to cheat, learn how to steal. Well, how about we do that and we learn how to do it the right way? Make a promise, do the promise. Good morning, Roderick Cheeks. Thanks for coming out yesterday and voting for me. These are things that you got to do. We got to do them. That's it. That's it. I'm calling Tate today. I'm going to say, Tate, we need to start a program for politicians because Mississippi just don't have them. We don't have the people. They don't understand it. We got to educate the people, and then we can start taking care of the 30 counties that Benny Thompson represents and everywhere else where it's all falling apart. And everyone in Benny Thompson. And if we can educate the politicians, maybe we can stop the killing because in every county in Mississippi, in Benny Thompson's district, someone has died from gunfire. And it's not because they have a gun, it's because they're not being properly raised and there's not proper education and there's not proper governments running. It's like we're all a member of a big gang of corrupt individuals, and 80% of us are trying to get through and say, well, we're going to let the 20% do that. But the 20% are not getting the job done. You're going to have to wake up. Let's take a break. We'll be right back here on the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB. I am Chip Matthews, and I'm back here on the program here this morning on WYAB. Remember, coming up at 7:07, Clay Edwards show, and he'll have thoughts and commentary about what has gone on. I had a phone call, an interesting phone call there, and they were talking about, by the way, good morning, Christy Taylor and Irene Jackson. She is the storyteller, and she has been storytelling about the stuff in Canton and writing it fair and balanced. But anyway, a guy called me on the phone. He was saying, look, don't praise the Republicans. Don't praise these Republicans out there in cities like Madison, this, that, and the other. They have some things that they do. Well, yeah. I mean, one way you look at it, if Mary Hawkins hadn't come out against the pot, we would still have a ballot initiative. Yes, we would still have a voice to vote. But we don't care about the vote. We don't care. 20% of us vote. So we don't care about the vote. You know, winning election now, we got to still fight and try to win. We got to fight and put people in. Clay and I were having a discussion. He says, it's almost like we just need to give up. And I was like, he says, because you're never going to beat Benny. You're never going to do this. You're never going to do that. You're never going to do it if you're not on the ballot. That's one thing. And it's, some people say, well, it's bad for business to run for office and lose. Well, yes, it is. It's not good. It doesn't feel good. I'm immune to it now, y'all. I've been beat so many times trying to say what I need to say and try to get the word out. And the word is getting out. People do see. I think of Jameson Haygood and his show, which he's now retired for a little while, doing it on Rumble or someplace like that. But Jameson Haygood, he brought it to you. He told you what was going on and then matched it up with the biblical meanings of everything. And he talked about oligarchs before Bernie Sanders even knew how to spell the name. And I don't know if he does yet. He's probably gotten old enough to forget it. But all these things that are going on in the world and all the things that go on in your political world in the greatest country on earth, as bad as it is, we're in the greatest country on earth. You could not live the life you live here. But we have got to get law and order under control. We have got to fix things. I mean, it may be good in some of those Middle Eastern countries where they have big money and all of that and get to hang out. And I mean, I haven't been. I don't know. I don't know if we need to live over there. But, I know when you do something wrong, they cut off your head. They cut off your hands. They cut off your waist down. Those people, they don't play. We play. We have kids getting murdered in the streets by other kids. And we say that's the parents' fault. Well, it's the parents' fault. And then at another point, it gets to where it's the government's fault because you have got to work at controlling the world. That is why you get elected. That's why you run for office. You run for office to make a difference. You run for office to make it a civilized community. You don't know better, but when you run, you got to just think things through. I mean, it's a thought process. It's like all week long, I kept wondering. I got 30 days if I win. I got 30 days before I take office, and how am I going to rebuild Canton so that I can be impactful quickly? Because they want it done quick, and you have to stop the murders. You have to get more police on the ground. You have to get, and that's the same in Jackson, same problems. Roads are shot. Flooding is everywhere. Corruption is around every corner. Everybody's got their hand out, and everybody wants to put some money in your pocket too. It goes both ways. I ran a campaign, did not take $1 from a single person. Not one single dollar. and others were able to raise money. I even heard of for our independent candidate. He had a big infusion of cash toward the end. Good morning, Ted Smith. Good to see you. But the reality is, money is the problem. Money is coming. We're going to have $10 billion drop in Madison County. I don't know how to explain it anymore. You need to ride out there and look, because all of you can benefit from what they need there. Everybody here could go out there and sell water. Everybody up here could go sell a barbecue sandwich or a hot dog out there and make a hell of a living right now while they're building it. There are people everywhere. People will go out there wanting to do this and that and the other. And the government and the people around you are going to look at you and go, you're going to be making too much money. We're going to have to get too much money out of you. We're going to want more. It's really, really sad when we think about the world and money. Money makes the world go around. Money buys and sells politicians. That is the fact. And until we get a control of money and who's raising the most money and this, that, and the other in situations. And this is not directed at any one person anywhere. This is at state level, everywhere. The people that raise the money win the races. Oh, yeah. Reminding everybody also that Bruce Bartley's Grip and Grin is today. I'll be there eating lunch. Come by. I'll be there. I'll be in my normal chair. You know, it's not a time to check out. It's a time to continue. If you truly believe you can make a change, you've got to always keep fighting. And so for everybody that lost a race, or everybody that ran the race, and those that actually won the race, you got to keep fighting for doing it the right way. So please get out and try to do something positive today. And these politicians, try to figure out how to do it the honest way. But right now, you've got both mayors in both cities, Canton and Jackson. You've got to stop the crime. You've got to stop the killings. Don't even think twice about it. Killing should be number one on your mind. You got other things. You got a host of other things that are important too. That somebody said, Chip, what are your points? 1, 2, 3, 4. I go, no, they're all ones. That's the sad thing. It's all one line. Stop the killing, stop the flooding, stop the corruption. You know, that's what's got to happen. You've got to not give up. You've got to get out and get it going on. I'm going to take a break and I'll be right back here on the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB. And it is the Chip Matthews Show. I am, of course, your host, Chip Matthews. And I don't know why you didn't hit commercial on the commercial breaks. It should have been there. But anyway, I am here, the biggest loser. No, I'm not a loser. I am more than blessed to have all the people tuning in today and listening today. And we are all blessed to be here in this country that we call America. America is the greatest place on earth. And the greatest place on earth is Mississippi. And it even gets better for me. Canton, Mississippi is my hometown. And it is where I think is the greatest place to live. And that is the way it is. And everybody in Canton, everybody in Mississippi feels that way about their hometown, and they're where they came from. Now, when they start going back to their neighborhoods and it's burnt out and gone to hell and back, yeah, you got a problem. Hey, good morning. What's that? Eric Lipsby? That's the first time I've seen your name up there. But anyway, Canton is a great place. Jackson was a great place when you go into these cities. But if they're falling down and not catching up, and the politics of each city, technically in Canton, you have the same government with a different head on the shoulders. Okay, and I hope that they move forward. Of course, someone said, Chip, are you going to go up and sit down and talk to them about some of the things that you think we need to do? Not unless asked. I'm not going to get in the middle of it and bother them. And in reality, in Canton, I could hang out with the 80% and just go put my head in the sand and say, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'll live a good life. I'll have what I have and forget everybody else. But that ain't the way I think. That ain't the way I do things. But I don't know what I will do as far as if the development, because the billions of dollars is there. The money's going to be there. The growth potential of businesses and local businessmen, that's where it is. Ground zero is I-55, is exit 119 in Canton. That's ground zero. And it's going to go from there to Flora, to South and West. Well, I say West Jackson and North Jackson, Madison, Ridgeland. It'll go across the spillway and get a little bit bigger. It'll go out down out to the reservoir, going out 43. People will start driving in to go to work there from Yazoo City, Holmes County, everywhere up there. People will be coming to ground zero to go to work and look for a better life. But when they get here, will Canton have improved, or will we still be in the same place? I mean, we don't have houses. We don't have places for people to live. We don't have food. We don't have restaurants. We don't have supply places. All of that doesn't exist there. We've let it die. There's some, and there's some, but there's not enough. These are the things and the issues that Canton will be going through and that Central Mississippi will be going through. Jackson had it all, but it's all burned out, but it's got a chance. Everything's got a chance. All these mayors from all these cities need to get together and talk. But somewhere in their greed, pride, it will kill the whole thing, because the politician in Mississippi, unfortunately, is built to I, me, mine. It's all about me. So that's what I got to say about it today. I would like for somebody to prove me wrong. But Democratic controlled cities aren't any good. And a Rhino controlled House and Senate. I mean, y'all, they're not Republicans at the State House. They're Rhinos. Realize that. This radio station constantly tells you the truth and what's going on. Y'all get out and do something good today. Get out and celebrate Tim Taylor winning and truly being gone. But the next question is, in Jackson, Chokeway's gone. But has anything changed? you're still going to get up, you're going to go to work, and you're going to do nothing, the 80% of you that don't vote. We'll see you around on WYAB. I'm Chip Matthews. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.